Welcome to another episode of Hustle in the Huddle, where hustle meets the huddle. Thank you for joining us for episode 9, where we're going to talk about how to get into the sports industry. Now, we're taking it a little bit back. Now, we already talked about support, event credentials, networking, mentorship, sponsorship, but now it's time to talk about how to get in the door.
Mhm.
So, before that, it's hard to get in the door, right?
Mhm.
So, let's talk about the long hours and the low pay, because no matter where you start off, and I talk a lot about starting off in a unattractive city. That's where a lot of the entry level jobs are. Sometimes you got to take those low paying, those far jobs in Idaho, Maine, the cities that people really don't want to go to. And there's a lot of good jobs too in North Carolina too. And a lot of people don't want to go to North Carolina, but North Carolina is cute. So it's long hours, long nights, from where maybe you're still in school and you got to do some internships, or maybe freshly out of college and you're doing some internships, and then you probably working like your full-time job on the side, and maybe you're doing Uber and DoorDash like I did on the side. So those are a lot of 14 to 16-hour days that you got to put in. Leah, I don't remember if you said or not that if you had nights like that, long nights like this. I know you had some low pay, but did you have long nights in your entry level job?
Uh, when I have long nights, no, because I'm not a night owl and I don't play about my sleep. But I mean, yeah, my first like real sports jobs when I was working at the agency, and it wasn't really too many late nights aside from like when we had events. I say more so I had a lot of early mornings, like getting up and getting active and getting to it. And you got it was very much like dog eat dog world out there. Like you had to be go get it, go get the bone, type of thing. So it was like you said, the pay was low, pennies on the dollar. You were lucky if you got paid for something, which was always appreciated. But 9 times 10, if your flight and hotel was covered, just go do an event, or you just got the opportunity to be there, you took it, and you said thank you. And the grunt work is where the real reality starts. And I mean, everybody wants to see like the glitz and glamour of working in the industry versus like what's the reality. And the reality is, baby, you are below like ground level. You are at the bottom of the food chain. Y'all ever seen Shark Tank where it was like there's whale poop and then there's you? Like that's literally where you start off trying to like get your foot in. I mean, I guess that's most industries, like you got to start at the bottom of the food chain, but like in sports, everybody in their mama is trying to get in some way, some form. And it's like you may have seen the top dog and you see them up there like, oh man, I'm gonna get there, but nobody wants to talk about the low of the low. So for me, I did the grunt work. I did the grunt work. And then as you slowly build up, like you get trusted more and more. There's always gonna be somebody that's gonna slide up under you when you're starting out. But I mean, what do you think when it comes to like I said, the glamour versus reality? Like what perception do you think a lot of people have that's a misconception about trying to get in the sports industry based on where you're at now versus where you started trying to where you were interning?
Yeah, people think, oh, I'm gonna get the job right when I get out of college. Oh, I did the work in college. I work in the athletics department. Oh, I'm gonna get in the door. It's definitely not that easy, because you know how many
Mm-hmm.
people worked in their college. Because I know I said, oh, working your college is yeah, it'll be easier for you versus people who don't work, in their college. But you know how many people work in their college and they still don't get the job? It's a lot of work. You got to do internships while you in college too. After you got to do internships. They say you hear a lot of jobs. You go on enough interviews, you hear a lot of jobs saying, "Oh, it's more the experience is more important than the degree." When
Mm-hmm.
obviously you still need the degree, but it really don't even matter what you get the degree in for real. Like, long as you got the experience, you can get a business degree or a communications degree and go get the experience. The experience matters more to a lot of companies. I heard that so many times when I did interviews. So it's like that's the glitz and glamour. You only see the good, but you don't see the bad and the ugly. You don't see the
Mm-hmm.
grind. It's very few people that show the grind, that show the sleeping in cars in the school parking lot so they can make it to class the next morning right after they did their internship, or bathing in gyms, so because they don't have a place to bathe or lay their heads because all their money is going into tuition. They might not have parents to pay their tuition, or they might not have the grants. So there's people that's working overtime in jobs that aren't internships, so they can pay to get through that schooling. So shout out to them people. Shout out to me because I'm them people. But like I didn't show the bad and the ugly until after I got the good. I'm like, I'm not showing the ugly because I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait to show the ugly when I make it. So, but shout out to the people who showing the process while they're in the process because they believe in themselves. They know God told them that they're gonna get that career job. But like the stick with the long hours because the long hours is going to pay off. It's going to pay off eventually. The low pay is going to pay off. There's so many jobs and I don't know if there's still internships with no pay. But I know there I don't know if I know the Dallas Wings was one of them. Like it's hard for them to get internships because a lot of internships, a lot of interns they want pay. And I get it, but sometimes if you can take
Mm-hmm.
that internship that's no pay because that is going to look really good on your resume. So if you care about your resume, you care about getting into your career faster, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. That's my motto. You got to do what you got to do. You got to take that internship that's not paid and go do you a little DoorDash, a little Uber Eats, a little lifting on the side, you
Ship.
know, and get your coin how you get your coin. That's what I did. Like I did so many internships that wasn't paid or that was like $7 an hour. Mind you, I got a whole kid too, but I cared about getting into the industry fast.
Mm-mm. So with that, seeing how you kind of started at, like we said, started at ground level to where you are now, how did you balance that burnout? Because obviously that was a lot. You had a kid, you had to get it how you live from DoorDash, Uber Eats to then also working and moving up and now you work in CAA, you did ESPN on other things and Fanatics full time. How did you balance that burnout and work life balance, or is it something you're still trying to work through now?
Yeah, girl, it was no balance. It was no. I go upstairs a lot of these people, and I'm telling y'all the balance, but I definitely didn't have no balance. That's one of the things. Like you said, you struggled with imposter
Mm-hmm.
syndrome. I struggled with balance, and I feel like I'm getting better now with work life balance. I think because life has slowed down for me. Like I'm done with school. Like some things have gotten off my plate. So now, granted, I'm trying to date now. Like I'm so ain't gonna go into that. But it's better because I don't have much on my plate. Now, if I've added more things to my plate, it probably
Mm-hmm.
you would probably see me not balancing so well. So, but it's hard. Like I don't know how to tell people. Maybe you'll be a better person to tell because I don't know how to balance. Like it's a lot. Like and then I guess for I would say going your route, making sure you're waking up early, especially if you know it's going to be long nights. Get the most of your 24 hours. Make sure you're waking up early. Starting your day off, do whatever you need to do, whether it's meditate, talk to God, so you can get your day off, get your day started off right with energy and positivity, and and go full fledged. And whether it's school first or work first, like I had work first, then I had school at night, and then throw a couple hours in there, budget out your plan if you're doing like DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that. Budget out, okay, this is the amount of money I need to make, this is how many hours I need to make to do it, do that. And then most importantly is what Pastor Haynes at Friendship West here in Dallas preached about on Sunday. Rest is important. Get your rest. You still have to get your rest. So you still have to factor that in too, because that's another thing I struggle with. Like I was
I
getting
love
like 4 or 5 hours, child, 4 or 5 hours a night. And then
it.
too, mental health. Like there's so many things to factor in: your rest, your mental health, your coin, and your schooling. Um, and then along with your mental health, your health too. So if you're not going to the gym, there's a lot of at home workouts you can do. I do a 500 sit up every night. I've been off track since March Madness, but 500 sit ups every night. Or if you stay in some apartments, run up and down your stairs, do 3 steps, run up and down your stairs. Like there's no excuses. Point blank, period. That's my point. There's no excuses.
I mean, first of all, Miss, I don't play about my sleep. It don't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, a nap is gonna happen. But I think I'm on the back end, like I'm experiencing some burnout now, but I think that's because you've been going, 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 and once you get to a place where you can kind of slow down, it is kind of hard. Of like I've been in a state of always looking for what's next, and never say stop looking for what you want, but I think it's like once you get there, it's like dang, I've been doing. monotony or repetitive work for so long. So like I'm starting to burn out. But as far as the work life balance, I love to be in the house. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I might occasionally go outside and y'all see me like, oh, she's outside. I love to be in the house, the home, okay? And now I got
Girl,
my
you be
apartment.
outside.
Not who? What? No, I love to be in the home. And now that I got my apartment that I pay for, I'm making it.
She's a 27-year-old grandma.
And that's okay because I go to bed. I mean, I go to bed decent time, like 10, but I get up at
You go to
4:30.
bed at 8 o'clock.
No, I don't. My phone just goes on do not disturb at 7:45 because there's nothing you need to talk to me about. And if you need me in an emergency, call me twice. But that's like going back because that's something that really helped me like mentally to like prioritize what you need to do. Having a routine and a structured regimen of time has really helped me focus and like lock in a little bit more. So that's led into my work life balance of just knowing like these are things I'm doing for myself. Like when my alarm go off at 4:30 in the morning, and if I really didn't sleep well, I kind of just pop up like, "Ooh, Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning." And then I go ahead and grab my little workout clothes I laid out the night before, go in the bathroom, do my little 1, 2, get dressed, and then I grab my lunch out the fridge, put it in my book bag, grab my little gym bag with my clothes for the day. I go to my little closet, put on my shoes, and I'm out the door. I'm at the train, and I try to get to work by like 5:30 in the morning. So yeah, so I go in there and I do my little 1, 2, I shower and I start my day, and then I get home hopefully by 6:30, wash my dishes, put anything away, take a shower. Well, really, I come home, I get in the shower, get my night clothes on, do all my stuff, and then I'm in the bed and I'm watching The Rookie, and I'm doing it all over again. And that's my work life balance. And then obviously you got to catch me in that time because people be calling me. I'm like, look, if I'm going to do not disturb at a certain point, so
Mhm.
we is in the bed. But that's a good balance to have. I know my routine and I know what I'm doing. So when the weekend comes, if I want to open up and like look for different things, whether I want to go explore or all the other stuff, I had my balance of like I handled everything I needed to handle during the week because I focused in. I had that regimen routine. But like I said, I'm experiencing a little burnout just because I think also with sports is like it's always fast paced. Nothing's really like yeah, you have some downtime at times, but it's like there's always something. And like for me, I'm getting to the tail end of my event season, which is Jesus. But it's like everything's coming to a head. Like I got one more event, and it's okay. Then I can take a second, but it's like always prepping for what's next. I'm trying to find something else to do. Like I'm trying to get into different sports. So that's like really something that I'm trying to like still build those connections. And even with the other events that we're going to, it's really like the connections that get you to break into the industry of sports. So for me, my connections that really helped me was my mentor, people, family members, being advocates. Like I think I got my real I have two first real breaks I say into the industry. One was obviously I said it on the very first episode of me working with the Loyalty Sports Agency and like my cousin in law Tony and Vince and all of them and like getting that opportunity to work with them and like build up the client relation skills that apply to my job now and things like that. So that was one. But then two, my breaking into the sports world was my mentor Miss Sharice and her telling me to come out to Senior Bowl and like she introduced me to everybody she knew and then from there they introduced me to everybody they knew and it kept going and I kept going to places. I might have had a couple dollars in my account. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to get me to where I was going because I knew if I just got there and I met the people, I could get those connections. But it's that's through connections. Imagine trying to get in without connections. That break into sports without connections for like the ones who didn't do internships, the one who doesn't know a person who knows a person. So how do you think you can build that network when you don't know anybody to help you get in?
I think it's about, I say this all the time, joining conventions, joining associations. I mean, like if you're a journalist, NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, like I can't preach this enough. No matter what career you're in, there's a business association that you can join,
Mm-hmm.
and the connections are laid at your feet. The networking events are laid at your feet. Almost every big city has a black sports professionals in their city. We have one here in North Texas. Texas, I'm pretty sure y'all have one in DC. Um, Join it, this networking events all the time. For tech, if you're in tech, they have so many tech associations, black tech associations, so many, and you can join them and go to different network events, different networking mixers, just hanging out, meeting new like-minded people just like yourself, people who are trying to get into the sports industry just like you. So when you're going to those conventions, make sure you're building those relationships. Use that time wisely and leverage those opportunities. Go to those panels and connect with those people, not just with the hiring managers, but with those individuals who are there for the same reasons you are there, because you never know like what their journey looks like. Their journey might not be the same as yours, to where maybe they'll get into their career faster and maybe they'll have the connection that you need to get in your career. So a lot of people miss that step where they're connecting with other students or other, entry level career individuals, and they just try to connect with the hiring manager. So leverage each opportunity. When you're getting those connections, make sure you're grabbing those LinkedIn.
I'm
Those
not the
are good.
best
Huh?
at LinkedIn. I said I'm not the best at LinkedIn. I'm not gonna lie to you. I connect with everybody, but response level, I'm sorry, y'all.
And she's trying to do better at that. She said it's a couple episodes ago. I don't
I
know.
did, and
Progress.
charge it to my head, not my heart. Because baby, when I tell you, I see them, I'm like, I should respond. I'm like,
She don't do it on purpose. She just get sidetracked and then forget
I
to
do.
connect with
I
people.
I get scatterbrained easy. Like I get on LinkedIn for three things: to play my little zip game to make sure I'm smart, but nonetheless, a cold email. Like I said, I'll send a cold email. I'll test out email like address to
No,
see what
tell
bounce
people
back.
what's a cold email.
Email somebody you don't know. Just
Oh.
hey, that's a cold email in my head. But I'll send an email. But also too, if I could just find a way to connect with you in person, if I can find an event that I know you're gonna be at that I can attend, I do so much better in person to build a connection with people because as I feel like you build an authentic relationship. I had recently did a panel through the trust at my job, and they had like the Temple University student athletes come out and stuff, and I literally told them, I was like, we had like a little mixer afterwards, like a networking mixer before they had to leave, and I literally told them, I was like, a girl came and asked me, she's like, well, when you're networking with people, like what do you ask them, like what type of questions are you asking when you're networking with people? I said, I'm not gonna lie to you, 9 times 10, if you're networking with them, you probably know who they are. 9 times 10, you might know who they are. So they're Googleable, or you already know a good amount about them. So like you asking them questions, not something it's something that you could probably look up. I said my biggest takeaway when I'm networking with somebody, especially somebody that's like high level, I want them to remember me at the end of the day. Like that's my biggest thing, is being memorable to them, where they can see me and be like, hey, I remember that girl. She said X, Y, and Z. Like she said she was from Georgia. She made me like laugh. She had a funny personality, or she wore all green for the past 2 days when I saw her. Like something that stands out to them. So like you're not in the mix with the rest. So that's a strategic way of like, oh, okay, I made myself memorable. I'm building the relationship. I'm connecting. And then when I go out with my cold email, although like I met them, it just hits a little harder. Like I can say this point connects to this point. They're like, hi, we met at this event. I was the girl that wore all green that told you I'm from Georgia that wants to get into this. Boom. Would love to schedule some time to talk to you more about how you got your journey, not the things that I can easily research online. That's how you can really
Two,
lock
before
it.
we get into the next topic, my girl there, Brittany Whitley, who works at the NCAA, she told me a tactic that she uses with networking is before she goes to an event, she makes up in her mind that she's going to connect it with at least 3 people that she don't know. So don't
Mm-hmm.
connect with people that you know, connect with people that you don't know. Two, also it's good to, if you know who's going to be at the event, like a lot of times event details, they'll tell you, give you a list of people who's going to be there. Research on those people and learn some things about them, because people are excited when you come up to them and you know something about them that maybe other people don't know, or it shows that you actually did research on them. So but if you don't have a list of people, go in that room and, okay, I want to handpick 3 people that I want to get to know. Or if you're walking around, you're ear hustling the conversations, and you're like, "Ooh, their conversation sounds kind of interesting. I'm gonna tap in." That's what we did when we went to the Together House during the Final Four We didn't really know anybody there outside of the athletes, but instead of meeting the athletes, we wanted to meet other people. And it was nothing but really like a bunch of ESPN and sponsors there. And we wanted to, get to know people and extend our network. Even with already being in the industry, we still want to extend our network because you never know where network it can take you. It can take you to a whole nother level in your career. So we met with, the VP of Under Armour. We met with a broadcaster for ESPN. So it's like take time, research before an event. If there's nobody listed, go in there just like a cold email, go in there cold and just pick out people that you want to get to know, at least three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's really, like we said, that's how you stand out amongst the competition because let me
Yep.
tell y'all, you fighting against everybody in your own. Like they could be, you can make your friends and you can have your people who you coming up with, but like everybody, granted, don't fight your friends. Like do not fight your friends, support them. And like y'all support each other because you're gonna need their support because it gets rough in the trenches. But let's be for real. Like you are in competition with your peers, especially if y'all work in the same level in the industry. Like luckily, me and Amber ain't really ever gonna be in a competition when it comes to working because we're in
Because
two
we work too
different.
different.
Yeah, we're
And
two
I don't
different.
really think we be competition for real because it's like
No.
we real friends. Like it's
Yeah.
okay, friend, I'm part to the job. Oh, I wanted that job. Like it's just gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, who we feel like better fit, or we both apply, and then the better candidate gets the job. It ain't gonna be no hate or nothing like that. I'm gonna apply to the next
Yeah.
job. I'm gonna help you look for the next job. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're real friends, it's never gonna be that. But
You know
industry friends, that's not really real friendship to me. Like y'all in real it's like a reality show, and y'all competing for love or competing for money. Y'all going for the same thing.
I
Like
had that though. So me and my homeboy Ulysses, we locked in like this. Me and Ulysses worked together at the PA. I think I told this story before. I don't know, but me and Ulysses worked together at the PA. When my internship was ending, he was also applying to jobs. We both got interviews for the agency, like 160 over 90, but completely two different. It was for two different accounts at the time. Like he just applied like NFL partnerships. I had applied for like USAA Bank or something like that. And so I had made it all the way to the third round of interviews. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a full time job when I finish this internship. I'm gonna really be on there. And I didn't get it. I was like, hold on. I was like, Chris, you lied to me. Like I'm emailing the recruiter, like, wait, what happened? Like I didn't hear it back. I was like, what? He was like, no, we loved you, and we just had to. They have made some changes and da da da. But if there's anything else that you want to apply to for the agency, like let me know. I was like,
I hate when
sure.
it happens.
I was so hurt. And so then fast forward, I was talking to Ulysses through the process. I was like, oh, well, how's your interviews been going? Have you talked to da da da? And he's like, yeah, I talked to different people for that. And I was like, okay. So then fast forward, he got the job. But before he made his post to say he got the job, mind you, like I said, we had two different paths. But he called me. He's like, Lee, I just want to let you know, friend, like I got I got hired, but it was for that role that that you had applied for. That's not what I applied for originally, but they had merged it together. So that's the role I ended up getting. I just want to let you know so you didn't find out when I make my LinkedIn post and stuff like that. He was like, I just want to, how you feel. And I was like, friend, I appreciate you for coming to me and like letting me know. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you. Like, I'm happy for you. You got it. You've been working long enough. You deserve it. But that's real. That was real of him to come tell me. Cause imagine me finding out on LinkedIn like this hoe and I stole my job. But that's why, when doing like trying to be stand out, you have to think about your personal brand first and foremost. I don't care what nobody tell you. You are your own brand. You are a walking billboard for yourself. Nobody is gonna put on for you like you're gonna put on for you. So make sure you really are buttoned up when you talk about your brand. I think I like if I had to use 3 words to describe my brand, funny enough, actually, I took a quiz the other day, and it was like I was like, you're direct, you're innovative, you're innovative, you're independent, and what was the fourth one? And I was direct, innovative, creative. Oh, and thinking. Like I had drive, and I was like good at thinking and stuff. And it was like with those, I was like, it's pretty accurate. I am. It was like, yeah, when you talk to people, you go direct. I said, yeah, I do. And it's like, you like to think outside the box. I said, sure do. It's like, you're independent. You don't like to work with people, but you can. I said, yeah, I can. And for that, I was like, okay, that's my brand. Like, I am the say what I mean what I say, but also like, how can we think outside the box, get it done? So, granted, when we tie it into my social media, can you see it? I think in my outfits you can, but to personally know my work I've done, I don't think that
I can
translates to
see it
that.
in your outfits.
If you saw my boots at Super Bowl, baby, I'm that girl. I was cute. Stiletto pumps in the club. Hey, yeah, I was cute. I was very cute. My outfits be cute. I don't think my like it just shows me like it just shows my personality in the sense of like I'm not dressing to match everybody else.
Okay.
That's what.
But they be jocking your style.
Hey,
We don't name no names.
hey,
We gonna
hey.
name some names. Episode 2. Oh no. It's
Let me
up.
tell y'all.
Episode
Let
10.
me tell y'all. If you heard Lotto and Glorilla new song, she said, literally, I don't do nothing but exist, and they still be mad. I was like, dang. Yeah. Just know that next episode, we ain't gonna get too much into it, but it's a scheme. It was all a scheme.
Hey, just know we hinting up to it in this episode.
But
But
yeah.
facts, you're right. Personal branding is. I know your mentor and your sponsor. We talked about that before. They hype you up. They
Mm-hmm.
but don't nobody know you and can't nobody be for you but you. You know yourself better than anybody. So you can brand yourself better than anybody, right? You just got to know how to do it. So
Yeah.
and just like they say, Google is your best friend, TikTok is your best friend too. TikTok will show you the way. We try to show you the way, but TikTok will give you the visuals. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
That's
branding
good.
your social media profile. Your social media is your portfolio. So use it wisely. Don't try to be all sexy. I have to lie. I used to be all sexy on my
Back
social
the
media.
out.
Tone it down, and showcase your work, especially if you work in social media. For me, whenever I made posts on ESPN or NCAA or Bleacher Report, I use that little reshare feature so that way all my work, when you click the little reshare button, all my next to the little reels button, all my work is in the reshare tab, so you see all
Mm-hmm.
the work that I've done. And then also there's something called Gondola, and you can put every link to your social media post on Gondola, and it'll host it on one page of your profile, and it'll showcase all the likes that you've gathered, all the comments, all the views, and it'll give you different badges, and then it'll link you to the jobs that they feel like best fit your profile. So gondolas, it's a perfect way, like when you apply on resumes, because resumes can only be one page. It's preferred. Um, when you apply and you have that one page resume, you got your qualifications, you got your little header, little 3 sentence header that tells you exactly
Mm-hmm.
who you are. You got your
That's my
your
statement.
um, your job descriptions, and you got your education, and you got your references. You put that on there, and then there's a section where it asks for links to your portfolio. That's where you go in deep and you tell them exactly who you are, what you've done in your past, and what you can bring to the table. So have a website as well. I have a website on Alert with Amber. That's where I showcase, before I created a gondola, I showcase who I am. I have an about me page. I have a why I'm doing this, and then I have links to the stuff that I did, the newspaper articles that I wrote during COVID, the photos that I edited at TCU, to all the posts that I made at ESPN and Bleacher Report. And then, like I said, with Gondola, I got links to that visuals where they can actually click on that post and see all the views and insights from those posts. It's never too much. They eat that up. So when you go to them career conventions, and they be like, "Oh, dude, where's your portfolio? You don't even have to have no paper in hand. Don't nobody do paper anymore." Oh, yes, I have a website, www.onalertwamber.com. Or, oh, yes, here's my gondola link. They love that. They eat that
That's
up.
my
So,
website.
like, just be prepared. Like, be prepared to have that digital portfolio, that digital file with your resume.
I do need a website myself. I keep saying that. I keep saying a lot of things. I really feel lock in. I just keep saying that. I gotta lock in.
She
I be
locked in
telling
with that schedule, but she ain't locked in on
when I tell y'all
LinkedIn.
I be so scatterbrained. I can only streamline so many things. I gotta put in my schedule. See, once it's in the schedule, it's really the wild, wild west for the weekends. I got a lot during my week. So when the weekend hit, it's either between sleep or like grocery shop. Like I do the adulting things on the weekend. I gotta slide it in there. I gotta schedule some time. I gotta get up earlier on the weekend, even though I wake up at like 7. Either way, that's how my body naturally wakes me up early. But right, because I go to bed early. But yeah, no, you're right, friend. Building that resume, building that portfolio, make mock campaigns. You could have done a lick of work already. But if you got some mock campaigns, now granted, let me give you an insider trade tip. Don't show them your work for real. Show them just a taste. Don't give them the full idea. Because I will tell you now, I have told people too many of my ideas. But there's some ideas I have that if they ever got out and I saw a campaign and somebody did my idea, oh baby, I'm flipping the table. But that's why you have a portfolio on here or your own mock up, because then you can go sue them and be like, this is me bar for bar back in 2024. I wrote this out. So like, I mean, the other careers, obviously we have your branding, analytics, marketing, partnership, client relations, social media editing, production. But like for me, I really do want to long-term goal, be a creative director or a VP or president of like some brand in their athlete partnership division, preferably a brand that don't have too much, I don't want to say motion, but it's not the go-to brand. I think is the one word, what I want to say. But I have so many campaigns I have thought of like with different players across different sports that like I know if given the opportunity to move forward, like the funds and like to do what I want, oh, that campaign would be fire. But
You're doing that.
thank you, friend. That campaign would be fire, but you can't, like I said, just because you go in these interviews or you tell people, like, don't tell everybody your next move. Because, like I said, I would be highly upset if I tell somebody, excuse me, if I told you about my plan, it's because I really trust you and I trust your opinion. But if I never mention it, you'll never know until that time comes. Because I'm telling you, there's like a good 3 campaigns I've been working on in my head for the past couple of years, and like got it written down here and there. Baby, the day those get the chance to hit the streets, they're like they span across different years. Oh, I know it's gonna be a hit. I know it's gonna be a hit. Like you on your end, like with the social media and the editing production, like you get to be creative and see those visuals and like where that can go. So with that, like those careers, where do you see yourself kind of going?
Yeah, the good thing about especially working for a company like NCAA, like they allow so much creativity, even at ESPN and Bleach Report, so much creativity. Um, I've never worked for a company like Bleacher Report that just really trusted what I did. Like ESPN was more buttoned up to where it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we got to go through all these channels before you post it. But Bleacher Report, NCAA, oh, we trust you. Go for it. I love like that's when I really just tapped into my creative juices. Like and then like with Bleacher Report, and then by the time I got to ESPN, I mean by the time I got to NCAA, it was like I was completely confident in all my posts and everything that I was doing because I had best of both worlds. I had ESPN where it was like button up. I had to go through different channels before I posted to Bleacher Report full responsibility. Go ahead and do it. So by the time I was at NCAA, like I knew how to run the show. I knew how to run I knew how to run Instagram, and it worked out so perfectly for me. If you follow March Madness women's basketball account, you will see that. But and then with at Fanatics, like having full control when it comes to my products. Love that. So being able just to work for a company that just give that trust you and give you full responsibility, full control of what they hand you is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell people all the time, my favorite thing to say when people ask me about Fanatics, I love it here. Same thing with NCAA, love it here. Love those companies. So I would love to be able to move it up where I work already. It's just an easy transitioning. Um, to like a VP level of whether it's communications or social media or marketing or events. So that's why like I do like my little side hustles at Fanatics. I'll, try to tap into whatever event that I can that Fanatics is hosting, whether it's a Ricky Premiere or it's Fanatics Fest or Rip Night. You see me at these events doing things outside of my job description because like I said, I like to it's good to be diverse in every um job under the journalism umbrella. Like I know where I want to work, so that's why I'm tapping into the event side. I'm tapping into the marketing side, so I can say that I have experience. Like you said before, you're never too old or you're never too high up to keep learning. I
Mm-hmm.
love learning. People. That's why I want to get my doctorates. I love school. I love learning. I love being educated. So, and that's not only in the school form, that's in the work form too. Like if I want to move up in the company that I'm at, why not work all these different events so I can get to know and network in my company and get to know their departments. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
that's like, so if you're transitioning from intern to full time, make sure you leverage that opportunity. Like in it, it's so hard to get an internship, especially at a big company like the ones that we work for. It's so, you know how many interviews that they go through or how many applications that they go through. I know ESPN, it could be like, if you look like when you're applying to something on LinkedIn, it'll tell you how many applicants apply to this job, and
mm-hmm.
you'll see like, oh, you got 300 other people that's in competition with you. So how are you standing out? Like we said earlier, how are you going to stand out? So when you're doing your resume, filling out your resume, make sure before you do that, look at the qualifications, look at the preferred and the required qualifications, and look at the job description. Take out those keywords and put those keywords in your resume from your previous job. If it says, "Oh, you need to have Adobe experience," make sure you put in there that you worked on Adobe for that post that you made. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I a lot of posts that I made at ESPN, I use Adobe. Like however you tailor it, make sure you put that in there. Like a lot of people, you realize you don't get the job because you don't research the qualifications. Like you can't just like, oh, I want to do this job, I'm going to apply for it. No, use
Well,
those qualifications and put those keywords, because I learned after years of doing interviews that they don't read all of those applications. They
that's
have a
whatever you do a
system
CV
that pulls
resume.
they have a system that pulls keywords out of resumes, and then they read those resumes and go through those applications, and then they weed out after that what they want, and then they'll set up those interviews, and then that's when you sell yourself. So it just all goes back to research, and make sure you're leveraging your opportunity when you get that internship so you can turn it into a full-time job. Leah is a perfect example because she interned at the NFLPA before she got the job. So like how did you transition from intern to full-time?
I was just the baddest one out. That's it. That's all. I'm not playing. I was just that girl. It happens. No, I mean, I got rejected twice before I got the opportunity to intern with the PA. Each time was because I lacked certain experiences and stuff. Somebody was trying to call me.
Oh, I wonder who that was.
Girl. So anyway, lacked certain experiences. So yeah, so that didn't pan out. But the third time when I actually did get the interview and stuff, it led to me having to like show what I'm worth, because I feel like for me, I just don't take rejection well. Um, I'm very, I'm not gonna say vengeful. I'm very much get my lick back in the sense of like if I feel played, I'm gonna show you like, oh baby, you got the right one but the wrong time. So it could be a blessing and a curse. It makes me very motivated to go do what I need to do and like get back. But also, I mean, sometimes when you're fueled off of vengeful motives, is not always the best. But for like the internship, I really didn't have high hopes because, like I said, that was my third time applying. I got so used to getting a rejection email. I was like, Mark Cobb's gonna email me again and be like, better luck next time. I was fully prepared, and it wasn't Mark Cobb. I said, was this a mistake? And obviously when I got in it, you know, I had to show up and show out. Obviously, you know, this is I've been applying. I've been trying to get this role, so like I had to show up and show out. And like, thankfully, honestly and truly, my girl Desmond Edmonds, she was the coordinator at the time. She really took me under her wing and like showed me everything that she was doing and how she did it and how to move and how to answer questions and how to do this and how to do that. Did I know she was preparing me to try to slide into her role because she was leaving? No. But when she finally told me, I was like, oh, girl, you tricked me. But it was very beneficial because obviously she prepared me so much more than she could have prepared any, like, you know, prepared me as an intern. Like she could have just gave me like intern level understanding and called it a day. But she made sure like she's like, no, I'm gonna train you to be a coordinator as an intern. So, and that, like I said, then there was a time period when she left, and I had to be the fill in, like the kind of like the stand in coordinator, and that really gave me the opportunity to like show what I could do and like just handle a lot of things. And obviously, as y'all know, in my tale, my woe, my story, I didn't get it when they had the application open while I was there, which I'm like, dang, that's rude. Because you still sitting there doing the work, but you just got to suck it up. And I think once again, that just kind of shows too, like, I could take, like I said, I could take rejection with my head held high, because I could have just been like, oh, I didn't get it. Now I'm salty and I'm gonna let my work slip because they didn't hire me. But it's like, no, I'm still gonna do the same level of work I was doing, if not better, because I'm gonna show y'all, like I said, I'm gonna show y'all why y'all should have got me that first time. And like obviously it worked out. They came back 4 months later, came in, did my full interview with my whole team and everything. And my VP, he kind of told me at that time, he was the last interview I had to do, and he was like, hey, just, you can't come back as the intern you left as. Not to say I wasn't a good intern, not to say I didn't do good work, but he was just like, if you come back as an intern, people always see you as an intern. Like, you have to come back leveling up, taking ownership, being an asset, where it's like you're not a liability in the sense like, oh, we gotta always hold Aaliyah hand when we trying to get stuff done, or Aaliyah, she still kind of move like an intern. She hasn't elevated. So I think that was me proving my value early and showing that I can elevate and transition, and like that I'm transformable in the sense that I can do multiple things and I can handle it. And also too, I think this is a skill that people don't take, I'm not saying seriously, but people don't take advantage of. It's okay to ask for help, or okay to acknowledge that you don't know something. People value that more than people think. Like, if I tell somebody like, hey, I don't know how to do this, not say don't say don't know, no, don't say you don't know how to do it, but just say, hey, I'm not that well versed in this. Do you mind like going over it with me again or something like that? People respect that so much more, because if you make a mistake when you have the opportunity to ask for help, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. And I think that kind of like moves more so into how you create opportunities instead of like waiting on them. When you ask, people like, okay, she asked, I can give her more. She asked, I see that she's trying to learn more. So I know, Amber, like you said, you queen of a side project or a side job. What would you say, like, within being your own advocate for those new roles outside of your full-time job, have like really gave you that hustle and the huddle energy?
Definitely starting on alert with Amber. Like in my early years, like when I was around your age, you so young. I wasn't getting any opportunity, so I had to make an opportunity for myself. Um, so I'm big on starting your own business. I'm big on investing in yourself, putting money where your mouth is. You say you want to do this, you say you want to get into this industry, put your money where your mouth is,
Definitely put your
catch a
money.
flight to an event, apply for credentials. And even if you can't get credentials, we talk about the event credentials, go as a fan and go to those networking events that are open to the public and advocate for yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no excuses. There's no excuses. I've done it homeless. I've done it with a kid. I've done it with no money. Like I'm literally every black woman. Literally. Like, can nobody come to me and say, "Oh, I don't have this," or "Oh, I got this"? No, because I did it. I am living proof. I am a walking testimony. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
So I created On Alert with Amber, and I started going to the combine. I started going to the Super Bowl, doing this with no experience, and I was getting access. You can get into the Super Bowl radio row with they literally let anybody in there.
No,
like,
don't say that. Don't say that. Don't let no,
they,
yeah.
if you have a platform and you have some type of background to where you've written sports commentary, you've podcasted. When I tell you, when I went to the Super Bowl for the first time in 2019, I didn't have honey, nothing. And I got access, but I only got access to Radio Row. And that's your ticket in. Once you get into Radio Row, leverage, leverage, leverage that opportunity. There's nothing but athletes walking around. Get those interviews. You never know. Network with other people that's in Radio Row. Just saying,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many ways that you can get out there. You're gonna have to put some money behind it, but that goes back to go DoorDash, go, Uber, go
Shit.
do things. If you
Really.
don't have a car, there's lot. Catch catch a bus, catch a train, and go work at McDonald's. Like there's so many things that you can do where you might have to put your pride to the side. But
Mm.
what's my motto? You got to do what you got to do. If you really want to get into this industry, you got to deal with the ugly before you get to the good. So, and that goes into my advice. That's my best advice. I feel like I just laid it out right there. So, Leah, what would be your best advice?
Sometimes I live like I'm in a Tyler Perry movie to really get myself into reality. That's I was on the train this morning and I don't know why I was holding on my stuff. And I said, let me play Struggle No More. Y'all know from Daddy's Little Girl. I was like, Lord, lift me up over the hurt and pain. And I said, so I don't want to struggle no more. I gotta keep working. It was me on the train like this, holding on my little bags. I had my headphones. I said, I don't want to struggle. And mind you, I got my workout clothes. I said,
Yep.
I said, yeah, Lord. I said, I don't want to struggle no more. Granted, I'm not struggling right now. But I'm like, oh, I got to do better for myself. So sometimes I just got to picture myself back in my humble days. And, no. But honestly, though, honest advice, just getting in, like I said, investing in yourself and like really advocating for yourself. There will be so many days where you're like, why do I keep trying to pursue this? It's not worth it. Like I could really go and do something else that I could probably get in quicker. But it's like when you just take it on and take on the lessons, like I'm telling y'all, there were so many days I called my friends like crying, like, and I don't cry now. My friends hear me crying on the phone, they know I'm like going through it. And it was like days where I'm just like, y'all, I'm so frustrated. Like, especially with the time when I was getting my master's too. So, okay, and I took this on. I'm starting to get my master's and I'm still trying to find a job. Like, why am I doing this? And like to Amber's point, I was kind of working for my brother and my sister-in-law as basically a nanny to my nephew for a little bit, like just to keep some gas in the tank and just keep things going for a little bit. And I think one thing I will say that kept me sane and kept me going was my family. They always invested in me, prayed for me, let me know like I was doing a good job and like it was gonna work out. Now, granted, sometimes when you hurt, they're like, you don't know, like I just got my 5th rejection email this week, but it's okay. But it's like they really kind of kept me going and kept pushing to say, okay, like you're doing okay, you're gonna get this. And like I said, to Amber's point, me and Amber would have never met if I didn't show up to events or go to things. Like if I didn't go to that event we met at, we wouldn't have, granted, that started rocky, but the second go round, that I was at an event. I'm here, I'm showing up every day. How can I network with the people? How can I meet the people? And I did. And like I said, from somebody I met at Senior Bowl, he introduced me to all the different scouts and reps and stuff. Like it was just so many things. So yeah, like I said, my honest advice is take it on, struggle, like embrace the struggle. That's why I say I be living in a Tyler Perry movie. Sometimes you got to embrace the struggle because at the end of the day, something's gonna break. Not gonna lie to you, honest moment. I'm getting to a point where like, I've been very irritable lately. Like the small things just like irritate me, and I don't like that. So like obviously there's something that I have going on where I need to reset or refocus because I'm getting irritable. There's something going on now. Like I haven't been that way in a hot minute. So that's things that I learned. Like I know that when I'm irritable, it's something's off. Something's not right. But I think with that, also having the embrace of like knowing things are okay. It's okay to be overlooked. It's okay to know you're not getting a dream, job immediately. But I think the biggest takeaway is like just staying motivated. So like for you, I know we say that a lot. Like, okay, they passed me up on this one, but the next one, that's me. Like, how do you feel going through, like I said, everything you said you've been through to where you are now? What's okay? What have you like just accepted? Where it's like it's fine. I need it to
Yeah,
happen.
you just gotta stay prayed up. Like I said last episode, pray. It's like if you believe, pray, because like I wish I was in my Bible back when I was growing up. That would have saved a lot of imposter syndrome or a lot of mental um imbalance that I was dealing with. Like so, like you said, it's okay to be overlooked. Like it's gonna happen. Embrace the struggle. The struggle builds character. Like, and you're gonna look back and appreciate that struggle. Like, dang, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be able to help the next girl that
Mm-hmm.
that is going through it, because God put us here to be able to create unions and
Mm-hmm.
to help people to help lead them to the ultimate goal, which is being with him, the ultimate, the eternal life. So if we're not helping people and teaching them from the lessons we learn, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? If you believe in God and you believe in his purpose, then you believe that your purpose is to also help people get to eternal life. So me and Aaliyah went through the things that we went through so we can have this platform and help people get to the goal that they want to get to when it comes to this career. So it's okay. It's meant for you to go through that struggle. Like, it's meant for you to go through it so you can overcome it and build character and be the leader that you're supposed to be.
I mean, also too, I will say though, go back. It's still a scheme. I won't let that go. There's still schemes being set up. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Now we may be here now, and this is just entry level. Let's be honest. Let's call it space bay. We started this podcast from entry level so we can grow with y'all and y'all can grow with us. It's really a rare thing that you find because people want to gatekeep everything on how they, not everybody, but a vast majority wants to gatekeep how they got started. So y'all are growing with us as we grow to our next level in our dream jobs and dream roles. But always keep your head on the swivel. That's one thing my daddy always told me. Always keep your head on the swivel, because when people are plotting on you, I'm sorry, people are plotting on your downfall, people are praying on your downfall, you may not know it, but you got to watch out for those things too, because with you getting to a higher level, or all those moments you were overlooked, now people are looking at you to see either how they could take you up off that spot or take you or keep you capped at that certain level, not reaching anything else. So just also be mindful of that too. But just stay motivated. Like we said, just stay motivated, stay prayed up, stay alert, stay hungry. Stay hungry. Never get complacent. Never feel like you just hit enough. Like enough is okay. Always want more. Don't get greedy, but always want more for yourself.
Yeah. So that, what she was saying, that leads us into our next episode, episode 10, which is going to be the final episode of season 1. It was all a scheme. So make sure you guys tune in, like in on every platform, Hustle in the Huddle, and Amber Billups and the Aaliyah Austin. Make sure you lock in and be ready for our last episode of the season, because we're gonna come with it. We might name drop, I don't know.
Huh?
But it was all a
It
scheme.
was all a
And we gonna
scheme.
get into it. So make sure y'all tune in, follow us on YouTube, and hit that alert button so you
Mm-hmm.
can subscribe.
You don't want to miss
And
it.
whenever you don't. And we will see y'all then. Peace
You
out.
gotta hustle. Nah, you gotta hustle hard and huddle smart, and we'll see you back at the huddle next time. Bye, y'all.